Sheng. Yu. Han Dynasty. Philosophy and literature bloomed during the Han Dynasty. Confucianism became the official government orthodoxy. A civil service was created with entrance exams based on knowledge of Confucian texts. The influence of Taoism continued to grow, and Buddhism was introduced from India. Three tombs from the early Han Dynasty were discovered in Mawangdui, Changsha, Hunan Province.
Mawangdui.
The owners were from the kingdom of Changsha.
长沙国
Changsha existed for 230 years until it was finally absorbed into the Han Dynasty. Based on seals found in Tomb 2, Tomb No. 2 Li Xi, Marquis of Dai, husband to Xin Zhui, Chancellor of the Changsha Kingdom.
立仓
The tomb is not well preserved, it has already been robbed. Tomb No. 3, it was believed to have been a relative of Li Xi and Xin Zhui, probably the son.
利息
Tomb No. 3 was in a good condition. About 1,000 artifacts were found. 3 maps, lacquerware, silk books, texts on philosophy, history, medicine, cosmology, astronomy, musical instruments. Also found in Tomb No. 3, one of the oldest editions of I Ching,
易经
and Tao Te Ching.
道德经
Exercises for the cultivation of body and mind. Also known as Mawangdui Qigong.
马王推气功
Tomb No. 1, Xin Zhui, Marquise of Dai, also called Lady Dai.
辛追
Lady Dai's coffin was buried in a shaft. The shaft was filled with tamped earth, and a hill was built on the top. During the creation of Tomb No. 1, Tomb No. 2, and No. 3 were damaged. Therefore it is believed that Lady Dai was the last of the 3 to be buried. Around the coffin is a protective layer of charcoal, which in turn is surrounded by a layer of kaolin. View the coffin construction in a Sheng series spin-off, or explore the coffin model on Sketchfab. The inner coffin consists of 4 coffins inserted into each other, surrounded by 4 boxes for grave goods. In the innermost coffin was the mummy of Lady Dai, which is one of the best preserved mummies in history. In the 4 side boxes were found many burial objects, such as lacquer dinnerware, lacquer toilet box with 9 boxes, 25 string zither, and figures making music. A representation of the life of the tomb owner. The wooden figures show a very high level of carving techniques. You can see 5 musician figures, 3 play zither, and 2 play uke. Uke is a free reed organ and can be counted to the family of Sheng instruments. Also, a realistic uke was found in Lady Dai's coffin. This uke, according to my research, is not playable because air connections or reeds are missing. It is a funeral model with original scale. In tomb number 3 was also found uke. It is functional but damaged. The tomb number 3 uke belongs to the earliest ever found evidence of a playable uke. Several reeds were found. Little metal, white pearls, were glued on the reeds. The pearls were probably used to regulate the frequency of the vibrating reed. His method is still used today, but with other materials. Another innovation of the Mawangdui was folding or joining the tubes to get different lengths. You can learn more about the folded technique at these links. Like the Sheng, the uke was originally made with a legionary gourd wind chamber. Because of this material, the uke belongs to the category of gourd in the 8 sounds, Baoyin, categorization.
八音
In the Han Dynasty they replaced the gourd wind chamber with a wooden wand chamber. But the classification for the Sheng and uke as a gourd instrument remained until today. Replacing the gourd wind chamber with a wooden wind chamber was considered a technical advance more than 800 years later in the Tang Dynasty. But since the uke was discovered in Mawangdui, it was known that wooden wind chambers were already used in the Han Dynasty. The uke organ and the sei zither were very popular instruments for singing, dancing, and banquet events. Uke were used as leading instrument during the spring and autumn period, the Warring States period, until the Qin Dynasty and the Han Dynasty. In old records it is reported that they were uke variants before the Qin Dynasty, with up to 36 pipes. The next centuries, after the Han Dynasty, are a bit confusing, since the uke sometimes became Sheng, or the Sheng sometimes became a uke. The uke disappeared around the time of the Song Dynasty. Uke variants, a uke illustration from Imperial Encyclopaedia, 18th century. Uke from the Tang Dynasty, stored in the Shosoin Treasure House in Japan. Uke from Mawangdui. For the developers of the new Sheng variants of today, the innovative uke from Mawangdui was considered as inspiration. A story from the Warring States period, from the Kingdom of Qi, shows how popular and widespread the uke was in its time. King Zhuan of Qi had a royal court orchestra with 300 uke players. The position as uke player in this orchestra was well paid. One day, Mr. Nango came and signed up as a player for the uke orchestra to get the musician's salary. But Mr. Nango did not tell anyone that he could not play the uke. With trickery and lies, he managed to be included in the large orchestra. In order not to be uncovered, he moved his lips and head in sync with his fellow players. no one noticed that he cannot play. When King Zhuan of Qi died, in 301 BC, his son took over the reign. He also took over the Yu orchestra from his father. The new king wanted to hear each player individually. So one day, Mr. Nango was also on the audition list. He fled before his fraud was discovered and was never seen again. This story has led to a saying that is still used today in China.
滥竽充数
What in turn means to fill a post without real qualifications.
Sheng. 谢谢你的时间。